search engine optimization for rank or for ransomware.
So George, what's the story you have for us this week?
So the story is interesting. I mean, it's something that's been happening for a while now. There's just another twist on it, right? Like they always do, right? So bad actors will always find something that's pretty common out there, right? And just pivot a little off of that. And in this case, it's the search engine optimization, which has been around for a long time. I can remember doing something similar back when I used to code HTML in the late 90s, and where you just stick, certain keywords, key phrases in your HTML, right? To hope that when somebody searches Google, they're searching for that keyword, and it may bump you up a few levels on the Google search results. But in this case, what they're doing is they're doing search engine optimization, but they're poisoning that. So they're creating malicious websites with certain keywords in these malicious websites that are very popular and that are very well known to draw users to go into these websites and click on a link to download something something malicious. So that's been going on for a while. This specific case is they're using SEO poisoning to drop Batloader malware, which once that malware hits the box, hits the C2, and it drops down what's known as Atera Agent, which is a well-known, I think, an endpoint monitoring tool. And these endpoint monitoring tools, there are tons of them now. And I'm sure that COVID brought up a whole new world of this, because the business model is what everybody wants. Remote monitoring, remote administration, remote everything. You don't dump one of these tools on your endpoint. You can see every single machine, on your network. You can administer them. You probably have full admin rights on that box when you're on it, just so you can keep tabs on your employees and your users. So from a little bit more of a detailed perspective, the use case here is this campaign is targeting people who are looking for very specific, who are running very specific searches. So they're looking for remote access tools, right? Like TeamViewer or something like that. Zoom, right? Everybody's getting on Zoom calls now. So what happens is the user will search for Zoom, let's say, and there'll be a malicious website out there that was created specifically for this reason. That website will have not just keywords, but also they've already figured out what Google is looking for, right, to bump themselves up. Google also looks for very well-designed pages, right? So good coding techniques, right? So they'll put some code in there that matches what Google looks for, bump themselves up on the results, so that when you search for Zoom, somebody searches for it, this will, you'll get it. You'll get the link. It will not be the link from the company's website, but it could be a bit.ly, it could be a shortened link, whatever it is. But the subject line, the actual result line, will say exactly what you're looking for. Download Zoom here, right? Or download the remote tool here that you're looking for. When you click on it, there's a specific process that takes over, right? They're calling it traffic direction system, TDS. And what this does is just a script that looks at the attributes coming from the user who clicked on the link, and it checks to see if they're coming from a search engine, right? So if you're coming from a search engine, it's going to direct you to a different website, and in this case, it's a user forum, right? And the forum pops up, takes you on to a specific conversation, and the two posts that you see are, hey, I've been looking for this file. Can you help me find it? And then the response to that post is, here you go. Here's a link with a big icon that says download. It's free. You don't even have to pay for it. This one's already unlocked. You can say, wow, I just skipped the whole, here's your email address, sign up for updates, we'll send you a free. No, you don't have to do any of that. You just click here and you'll get it, right? So you're going to be like, done. I don't have to give my email address to anybody. I don't have to pay for it. Download it, and then here comes Batloader with, and if you're not blocking out certain C2s, you can pull the payload down. And you can imagine, once they're on the box, lateral movement takes place. They have control over your ID. They can dump the LSAS. They can grab anybody else who's logged into that box at some point and move around the network. The other part of this TDS mechanism is if it doesn't see you come from a search engine, right, it will take you to the proper website for that tool that you just searched for. And the reason for that is if you're a security researcher or somebody on the good side who's doing analysis on this, they don't want to tip their hat. So they want you to take that, they want to take you to where that specific search is going to go, right? So they don't want to take you to the bad place and then you can work your way back. So you're going to click on it and it's going to take you to where you have to go, right? So, typically researchers will pick this up regardless, but it's a good, if you're busy, try it. Oh, it's fine. It's taking me to wherever.com. It's good. So this is, I find this to be very interesting, just for that mechanism that they have in place, which is probably fairly trivial to incorporate, but the fact that they're targeting now very specific popular applications, and taking you to a place where you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to get it right away without going through any of the process that would slow you down normally, is a little scary. And I'm pretty sure that quite a few people are going to be falling for this until they figure it out, or unless they spend some time really looking at what they're clicking on, because typically Google will give you the URL, the address in the results, but most of the time they're just clicking because, hey, look, the header of that result says exactly what I'm looking for. I'm just going to go ahead and, and click on it. And this could be terrible. This could be very bad because, once the malware gets on, if you're not detecting malware, you're not detecting any kind of behavioral heuristics, you're going to miss that. And then when the agent gets on, this could look like normal behavior, normal remote administration. And then, obviously it just starts doing what it has to do. When it compromises the host, and as it moves on to the next host, if it's able to do some lateral movement, it wipes out whatever it did on the main host that it first got on. So it's going to wipe its tracks. It's going to erase its tracks, like most malware tries to do. It'll probably even go into if you're using Windows Defender, it'll add a exclusion to Windows Defender for the malware, for the DLL that it's dropping, so that Defender doesn't even pick it up. So there's a lot of bad that can come of this. But I think it's something that people need to consider whenever there's some kind of SEO that is seen in the environment, search engine optimization, that it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's being very creative, because SEO is a business model. There are companies that dedicate their entire business to optimizing somebody's website, a business's website, to be on the top 10, right, without having to pay Google. So they need to be aware that people are taking advantage of this, using it in a different way than intended. And yeah, I just found it to be an interesting topic, and we'd love to know what you guys think about that.
I think this ties into the ingenuity by the adversaries, the same way like Tony was presenting, where the phishing possibly, with the email attachments goes away as a mechanism. It seems like the bad guys are even like always a step ahead. Like, this is another way to deploy malware. Why fish you when we can give you what you want and have you come to us? And I guess it never ceases to amaze me how good, how, I guess, clever is the best way to put it, how clever the adversaries are in getting people to install things that they don't really want. Just the complexity of what you've described, but also the simple nature of it kind of speaks to it. There's a lot of components, but it's also pretty simple. You want something, you search for it, you find something that you need. And I think most people today, they operate in this way, and you got to get everything done quickly. Yeah. You want to sign up for 1,000 different things. You just need the software, and you just go and you download it. I think that's probably half of the malware compromises probably happened this way, of people looking for things and finding the wrong thing. I think we even covered a part of this when we talked about Glupteba and Maris last year, which is like this large botnet, and I think they spread in a very similar way. And even though some parts of this infrastructure were taken down, the adversaries, they never cease to operate. They're always there behind the scenes, thinking of ways to get you to run some code that is going to give them complete access to your information or to your computing resources or to your network connection. And I think those are the things that most users today have as almost like this invisible asset. Your computing resources could be used for cryptocurrency mining. Your network connection can be used to obfuscate the adversaries or anonymize the adversaries' operation, and your personal information can be used in probably very obvious ways, to steal money or to steal access to sensitive information that you have access to. So just the ingenuity is unbelievable here.
Yeah, just to comment on what you said, Stan, and your discussion, George, is the bad guys right now are using business methodologies. What a corporation needs to do to make sure that they're very effective on the internet. So let's abuse that, and then let's instead of going after these individuals, why don't we let them come to us? And they just sit back. They do some optimization. They sit back, and people in a hurry, they're late for a meeting. They got to get a cup of coffee or something. Yeah, I need this. Click, and you're done. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're literally doing upfront work and sitting back and letting everyone come to them. And it's ingenious and lazy all at the same time. And that's what most inventions are. If someone wants to be lazy, they don't want to do this thing anymore, so I'm going to build something to do it for me. And that's exactly what this is.
Yeah. We just need people to just take a breath, right? I mean, just focus. You just clicked on bit.ly.whatever, not what you originally looked for. Just take a minute. You don't need to be in a forum to download this. But everybody, like you guys said, everybody's agile. Everybody needs to have this done 2 days ago, and nobody wants to wait. And what happens. So, interesting time.